These are the Marvel Legends series Ursa Major Build-A-Figure Wave. We have the modular suit Iron Man, the stealth armor Iron Man, and Riri Williams in her first armor as Ironheart. I picked up all these figures, all three of these figures, from my local Toys R Us store for a whopping $26 each. Let's have a quick look at the back of the packaging. Fantastic artwork. Oh my goodness, this one reminds me so much of the cartoon I used to watch when I was a kid. Man, I'm old. And from the comic books, look at that wonderful stealth armor, stealth suit artwork. Absolutely gorgeous. These are the only three figures I actually picked up from this wave. Wasn't really interested in the other figures. I know a lot of people were after Ultron. Some people were after the Guardian, but I just wasn't interested. I wasn't even interested with building the Ursa Major Build-A-Figure wave. These three were the only ones that were my targets, and I was so glad I actually had them. The store I went to had all of them. I was able to choose from several copies of the figures, which I'll explain later, because there are a lot of quality control issues with each figure. So very, very cool. Let's get all three of them out of packaging. And here they all are out of packaging, and I've taken the liberty of putting also together with them other figures in my Iron Man collection, War Machine, and the 80th anniversary Iron Man. And these are all the accessories that came with these three figures. Let's begin with the Stealth Armor Iron Man, since it is the straight up repaint of the 80th anniversary Iron Man. And this figure turned out absolutely gorgeous. My only comment I would say is that when I took this figure out of packaging, there was a thin film of, I don't know what it is. It felt like solidified dust or solidified talcum, baby powder, like talcum powder. I don't know if it was intentional. It felt at first glance like somebody had left the figure out and then it just gathered dust. That's how it felt. And you can even still see some bits of the particles of that compound that came with this figure. I tried to get some Kleenex and just tried to wipe things away. It came off fairly easily. I don't know if it was intentional. And you can see right there, there's some bits of white residue. I think they put it there so that the paint would not cake or the paint wouldn't get sticky. I don't know, but that was my clear observation from this figure. I had to wipe everything down. It took a full 20-25 minutes just to get everything out. But there was that white film, and if it were intentional for protection, just to protect the paint from chipping or anything like that, then I'm all for it. But it just took a while to get rid of it. Anyway, the figure is a direct repaint of the 80th anniversary Iron Man, and it looks great. The plastic they used is so premium. I reckon it's akin to the kind of plastic they used for this Iron Man figure, but it's done in this glossy marble. I can't even, I think it's flake more than pearlesque type of plastic. It's so shiny. And it's a deep shine, not like this one. It's a very shallow shine. Look at this. It's like a car's finish, like a metallic or glossy coat. Then they put on a clear coat on it. That's how this armor feels. So it's straight up repaint. They didn't change anything. Even the extra hands, the fists, and the non-movable, non-hinge repulsor hand is the same. The blast effect is the same. The only thing missing really is that bigger blast effect, and it's fine, doesn't really matter. But this figure really turned out great, and I keep saying it in my videos. The repaint, Hasbro has to nail that repaint for it to work, and they absolutely nailed it with this figure. Also, the figure is tight. I mean, really tight joints. It's as though there's no sign of mold degradation. And it feels like this was the first production of the mold, not that one. Some paint issues that you might want to check out is the head sculpt. The red paint sometimes is uneven. This is the best one I could find. Also, the slits on the eyes, make sure they're almost the same size. I think it's an issue with that head sculpt mold. One thing I would like to note, though, is the head sculpt. This is from the 80th. And there's like a little bit shade of gray. It's like he has a little bit of a tan. This one is pasty, flesh tone. So I thought this was the better head sculpt. Even the blue eyes, paint on the 80th anniversary, feels like it's more Christopher Reeve Superman blue eyes, and the new one on the stealth armor feels like it's more of a deeper shade of blue, but this one is a lighter shade of blue. The mustache, I think this one looks better, but this one is a lot sharper. But I do like the mustache on this one better. But overall, the eyebrows. Oh, I forgot. The eyebrows are so thick. Oh my god, he needs to thread that. This head sculpt kind of looks better at first glance. This one obviously has the better details, but when you're going to display the figure, I thought this one was the better colors and the better color of the hair. Yeah, but this one obviously has more details. I don't know, that whole, I didn't notice it when I first got this figure, but that bit of gray or tan on the face kind of makes the head sculpt look like it's dirty. Anyway, so that's it for the stealth armor. It's just a straight up repaint, and the notable quality about it is that fantastic new plastic that Hasbro used and the head sculpt. Okay, let's move on to Riri Williams' Ironheart. This was her first armor when she was trying out to be her own version of Iron Man. Obviously, the stand is not included. This is a free stand that I actually got when I purchased these figures from Toys R Us. This was a Toys R Us freebie. It's a 2014 Hasbro stand. Obviously, it doesn't come with that. And wow, this figure just blew me away. I think, oh my goodness, this figure turned out great. It's obviously, I think, going to be just a beta version. I'm sure Hasbro is going to come up with another Riri Williams figure, but their first pass at Ironheart, oh my goodness, it is absolutely gorgeous. I have some comments later on, but the plastic they use is bordering the same quality that they use on the stealth armor. Look how amazing that fire truck hot rod red came out. She does have these repulsor thrusters. You can obviously put them on her hand, like that's pretty cool. She also has an extra pair of hands. These are fists or closed fist hands. Sadly, the repulsor hands, much like the 80th and the stealth armor, they don't have any hinges. They just have swivels, so that kind of sucks. But the main thing that really sells this figure, in my opinion, is this fantastic sculpt, the quality of plastic, and this amazing new articulation that Hasbro has put on this figure. No butterfly joints, okay? Double jointed neck. There's a ball joint bottom, ball joint on top. But look at the elbows. Look at those elbows. Double jointed elbows with no pins. Bicep swivel, swivel wrist. Look at the knees. Again, no pins. Absolutely fantastic. I am just loving what they did with this figure. I mean, for a female figure, albeit it's a much smaller figure, much difficult to do this kind of technology, and they nailed it with this figure. It's a lot smoother now, and I love the candy red that they put on her. Now, having said all of that, some quality issues do abound for this figure. If you're sifting through several, when I was trying to purchase one, I had an opportunity to look through 5 different figures, and what I did notice is here are the things you need to look out for. The first thing that's glaring quality issues is on that head sculpt. Look at that triangular blue triangle paint apps on her forehead. So that triangle on her forehead, that's the biggest quality issue I could find. If you can find a figure that has that blue triangle dead smack in that molded triangle on her forehead, then consider yourself very lucky. I did actually find one that was dead center, one out of the 5 figures I was looking at, but the gold paint had that white blemish. It had, like, somebody had touched it and it left that white residue on the gold paint, and the body had a lot of just freckles and speckles of other blue paint. And the head sculpt with the perfect blue triangle, I had a imperfect body, so I couldn't pick it up. Now this one was the best I could find. The triangle wasn't too skewed, off-centered, and the body was perfect. The other thing you should look out for is the gold paint. Make sure it's consistently painted all over the body. But other than that, I thought the figure was executed very, very well. I mean, for a first pass at this mold and for Riri Williams, absolutely amazing. So, just to review the other joints, got a ball jointed upper torso. Shoulders go in and out, forward and backward, bicep swivel. As I mentioned, pinless elbows and knees. Hips can go forward and backward, do the splits, thigh swivel. And the ankles have the rocker tilt forward and backward. It's a shame. I kind of hate myself now for selling my all new, all different Invincible Iron Man figure. I could have, you know, displayed them together. Yeah. Anyway, I'll probably hunt that one down again sooner or later. So she also does have these, before we go to the head sculpt, she has these blast effects. I have no idea how these work because the promo images that Hasbro had released for this Riri Williams figure has the has these sort of smoke screen cloud effects on her forearm, and then they have that repulsor blast here. So not entirely sure if this is how it's supposed to be, because I read up on the comic book, the Invincible Iron Man, her origin arc. I did read up on it, and for the life of me, I honestly can't remember. I sold off the entire series. I can't remember if this was what it looked like. Somebody let me know in the comment section if this is how it's supposed to be, because I honestly think these are like smoke that should be coming from her boosters, from her legs, like this. It's like, because I know her armor was like a prototype, and she was working out the kinks of the armor, and she was like crashing all over the place. Like, I would honestly think it should have been like this, and then you get the repulsor blast or the booster jets just like that. I think it works much better this way. Okay, and then finally, let's talk about this head sculpt. Wow, look how amazing this thing turned out. Oh my goodness. The head sculpt is so close to how she looked like in the comic book. I mean, it could have been better, more details, but this is as good as it gets, folks. I love the sculpt. I love the hair sculpt. I love the tone, the skin tone, those lipstick, the eyes. I think they got it right. Very, very happy with this one. And then finally, the modular armor Iron Man. I think this is the gem of the wave. I mean, I'm probably biased because I really, really liked this figure. Growing up as a kid in the 90s, I mean, I bought those small 5-inch Toy Biz figures that had these chrome pieces, War Machine and him. I sold it off because it was getting too sticky, and I wasn't really into that game anymore, the 5-inch Toy Biz line, so I had to get rid of it. But one of my favorite Iron Man figures and armor was this, the Tony Stark, the thing that he had a suitcase and then it turned into his armor. Oh my goodness. And I think Hasbro really nailed it with this figure. This figure is absolutely gorgeous. It comes with these recycled blast effects, but this is one of the better colors, the deep blue blast effects. He comes with a pair of closed fists and open hands. And look at this. Look at those wrists. There's a hinge joint and a swivel. Thank you, Hasbro, for listening to the fans. Hinge joints are absolutely necessary for repulsor hands, like so. Yeah, very good. And the fists, they are brand new sculpted fists. I thought they would just recycle the 80th fist, but no, it's not. This one is a little tighter. This one's a little bit more flat. So yeah, new sculpt. Definitely everything about this figure is new. The fists are new, the hands are new, the head sculpt is new, the torso, legs, everything about it is new. I think even those hips are new. So just look at the paint. You have it. It's the same glossy, like clear coated, I don't know, top coat type of plastic they used for that Stealth Armor Iron Man. And look at that, candy red, hot rod red, very, very nice looking armor. The only thing that they could have done to improve this figure is they could have repacked that all new, all different Iron Man head sculpt into that into this pack, because this figure did not have a BAF piece. They could have had an alternate head, and this would have made this figure more than perfect. It's perfect as it is, but that's one of the ways they could have improved it, with that Tony Stark head sculpt. Or maybe they could have just, you know, the one from the Shang-Chi wave, the AI Tony Stark, they could have just slapped that here with proper paint or flesh plastic and painted. And finally, let's talk about articulation for this figure. It still uses that old neck hinge. There's a hinge and a ball joint. That's cool. Ab crunch, very tight. Ratcheting waist swivel. Shoulders can go in and out, very tight. This is actually, this joint, I'm actually very afraid that I'm going to break it one of these days, but it's very tight. It's a very tight swivel and a very tight hinge joint. Not complaining too much. I love tight joints, but just be careful with these shoulder joints. Bicep swivel, double jointed elbows, no more pins. Hips can go in and out. Oh, wow. I had no idea you can do the splits all the way out like that. Is it a drop down hinge? No, it's not. It's just a regular ball joint hinge. Thigh swivel, and this piece right here is attached to the lower thigh. Double jointed knees, and again, no more pins. Great technology by Hasbro. And then the calves, they actually do swivel. This is a nice touch. Instead of just molding the entire lower leg, they had separate pieces for the upper calf and the boots. And I think the swivel is unintentional, but it's there. So that's pretty cool. And then the feet can go up and down and have the rocker pivot. And so some final thoughts on these three figures. I think these are the best figures in the wave. I know I'm being very biased, and I haven't even seen the other figures, but I think these three are the ones to pick up if you're not getting the entire wave. Each one of these figures is going to receive a 10 out of 10. I absolutely love these figures. I was blown away by the amount of engineering, the design, the aesthetics that Hasbro really put into these figures. Even the repainted 80th anniversary Iron Man, the stealth version, really came out great. The first pass at a Riri Williams first armor Ironheart, I thought they did a very strong effort and a very, very good job on that. And the gem of the wave, I think this is the best figure in the wave. And I think I'm going to give this figure an 11 out of 10. So 10, 10, and 11. Absolutely satisfied with these three figures. Well done, Hasbro. Best of luck to everybody hunting these figures down. And I know here in Manila, these are the three figures that are first to go, and that Ultron figure. Let me know in the comment section what you think of each of these figures. And are you satisfied with this kind of format of reviewing? I'm trying to review 3 or 2 or multiple figures at a time. Are you satisfied with that kind of format? Do you want me to go back to my old format of just one figure per review? I kind of think this is more efficient. Hit me up in the comments, and as always, hit that notification bell so you never miss out on any of my latest video reviews. If it's your first time here, please subscribe. Thanks for watching.